are we at, and what are we expecting the suspension will be for Latrell Mitchell?
Yeah, look, the NRL handed out the breach notice to Latrell Mitchell. Under the new RLPA rules with the NRL, they can't disclose what that is until those 5 days are over. My understanding, it's a one-game ban, a $20,000 fine for Latrell Mitchell. And then after that, he'll front the board and meet with South Sydney to discuss, basically for them to give their thoughts to Latrell about his actions and then him to give his side of the story. Now, there's no doubt that South Sydney, from my understanding, will come over the top with their own sanction for Latrell Mitchell. It's probably going to be a monetary fine. And then I don't think he's going to get sacked for this. It's not going to be a situation where Latrell Mitchell moves on from South Sydney. But even in speaking with Latrell pre-Origin in that interview we did with him, he even said in his conversation with Wayne that he said, "I need you, Wayne." And Wayne said to him, "Yeah, you do." And I think that's going to be the one thing that South Sydney and the board are going to say is, well, Wayne's coming now, and the onus is on Wayne and Latrell to make sure that things like this don't happen in the future. Now, has he made a mistake? He's made a big mistake. South Sydney want him to learn from it. I think he'll be breached for it, and he'll go into the future knowing that people at that club aren't happy with the way he behaved in that situation. There's no doubt Wayne Bennett wants him at that football club, and Wayne Bennett
going to take any responsibility. Why does Latrell act the way he acts? Why does Latrell get involved with things that he's not supposed to be involved in? Why he's so outspoken? Why isn't Latrell at South Sydney games? Because South don't make him. No one at South is holding Latrell responsible. Now they're going to come in and try and find the bloke and put certain clauses in his contract. I find that really rich from the South Sydney club, honestly. That Latrell behaves the way Latrell behaves because he's allowed to behave like that. The club never pull him up. Has anyone at the club actually pulled him in, sat him down and said, "Mate, you can't do these things. You can't do certain things. You're not doing the right thing by yourself. You're not doing the right thing by the club."
From a football point of view, they did it this year. I'm not talking about this situation. I don't know if you can hold Souths accountable for what this situation happened here in Dubbo on the weekend. But
why is he at the game?
The conversations.
Why is Latrell not at the game?
Well, I'm not sure why he wasn't
because
at the game.
Because South Sydney allow him not to be at the game.
But this situation, he was at an academy and he did some work with some kids and he was in Dubbo. I'm not excusing what he did, but I'm saying the conversations with South Sydney and Latrell Mitchell happened after that Sean Johnson incident at the start of the year.
I'm not having to go anything about what happened, that photo and what happened, whatever's happened there. But my issue is I just feel it's a bit rich for South to come in and try and discipline him now when they've allowed him to behave like this constantly, over and over, year after year, and never pulled him up. And now they want to come pull him up. Now I just find it a bit rich for them. I think the way he behaves is partly their fault because they've allowed it to happen. I think Wayne coming into the club will be great for him. And I think South Sydney know that. But I just think Latrell behaves the way he behaves because he's been allowed to behave that way.
Gus, do you think that Wayne will get the best out of Latrell? And how do you, in your experience in the past, superstars that end up in the headlines, how do you best manage them?
Yeah, I remember sitting on a panel show here, must have been 10 years ago, and we were talking about Latrell then, the same sort of things, the same way he was treated by his club and treated differently. And I said, if you keep allowing Latrell to get away with this, then it will never end. You have to rein it in early, and you have to get him educated early and understand his responsibilities. And everyone blew up and whatever, but we've just seen year after year after year similar things happening, little things happening, different but all the same. And to the point now where who has got control over Latrell? He's saying, "Wayne, I need you for my control." Well, Latrell's a grown man. I mean, he's not a boy anymore. He's not a rookie, and that's just an excuse to say, "Oh, well, if Wayne comes, I'll behave myself." Well, what if Wayne doesn't come? Does that mean you're going to keep doing what you're doing? You've got to take accountability for your own actions. No one's reined him in. They've let him be Latrell, the Latrell that he wants to be, and that's why you've had all these problems with him over the years. As a football talent, elite, absolute elite, one of the best in the game. No risk in the world Wayne Bennett's going to South Sydney to win, so he needs Latrell. So he'll make all the excuses for Latrell that he can too, and suddenly he's going to sprinkle magic dust on him, and Latrell's going to behave, and everyone's going to live life happily ever after. But that's a cop-out. That's, this has been going on for a long, long time, right throughout Latrell's career. And there are a lot of people responsible for it. Most of all, Latrell. Can't blame everybody else. Latrell, he's the one that's got to be accountable. So now the excuse is Wayne's coming, I'll be accountable. It won't. It'll happen again.
What would you do, Gus, in this situation? If this is your club, what would you do?
Yeah, I don't think that our club could tolerate that sort of behaviour. I don't think that we would tolerate that at all. And I don't think we would have tolerated many of the things that have happened over the years. You know, he's an elite talent. He can win your football games, and he's a bugger to play against. But there are some people that just.
Is it too late for him? I don't think it's too late for him.
Is it too late for him to be a professional athlete that does everything right 100% of this? He doesn't want to do that. I've said that for years. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to be listed this Latrell. That's what he wants to be, and everyone's allowed him to do it. They've allowed him to get away with it. And I said this a decade ago. All right, so, you know, Latrell's let himself down. A lot of people have let him down along the way. Wayne will come in for a couple of years and win some games with him and all that, and we'll all be lovey-dovey, but it's not going to change him. It's not going to change what he wants to do.